I'm afraid that.
Hello, guys, one more time, and welcome to Ring Royalty. My name is Alexis, as you already know, and you already know her. Alex, I'm back in the house. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, I've been better, but besides my feelings, today we're here to talk about the Royal Rumble.
Actually, it's my first time reviewing something, so I'm excited to try new stuff to complain because I have a lot to complain about.
Okay, so let's not waste any more time and let's start with the video. So, the first women's match of the night was the 30 women Royal Rumble match. So, I have mixed feelings about this, particularly. There are some things that I liked, and there are some others that were really trashy. I don't know how you feel about the match.
Perhaps that's my own opinion. That was the worst of the Rumble match.
Oh my god, okay.
I remember more stuff from the other previous ones,
Mhm.
more perhaps exciting surprise. Because like they announced 20 something of the women in the Rumble. Like, where's the fun in if you know everybody already?
I mean, we knew that even if they know 20 plus women, there were going to be some extra surprises. Like in this case, Melina, Ivory, and we had, well, the eventual winner that we're going to talk about that in a minute. But like you said, I'm not sure how well they execute their returns. Like the legends didn't last long inside the Rumble like other years.
No, the only one who lasted long was Michelle.
Yeah, there were some wasted opportunities in this Rumble, and especially with the returning legends. Like, I feel Melina, Cameron, the booking was weird in this match. It was really
Yeah,
weird.
like with Naomi or Cameron, they could have done a little reunion, at least in the ring, for like one segment, but no, they just did this because Cameron was gone. Yeah, I understand with the Sonya thing that she wanted to go after her. That made sense because they're feuding right now, but
Mhm.
like you could have waited a little longer for them to actually have something.
So maybe
I
like
was
the reunion, and then maybe Sonya sneaking to eliminate Cameron, but while Naomi was like inside the ring already, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. I was well,
True.
I can understand why Sonya got rid of her, but like it could have been more.
Miss opportunity again. And the
Again,
same thing happened with Sarah Logan. She came back like for nothing. She just looked at Liv Morgan for like what, half a second, and then she got eliminated by the Bellas. And we didn't get this Riot Squad, whatever, against the Bellas. Like face off at least a couple minutes, considering that there is no tag team division on the women's side.
I mean, not memorable, but it would have made sense for them to have more than what they had.
And another tag team or whatever you want to call alliance that was wasted for me was Shayna and Ronda. They did nothing with them, and this is the first time they share the ring. I feel like they should have been like teaming up to eliminate people, like maybe Lita. Charlotte eliminating everyone was what happens at every Rumble. So maybe Shayna and Ronda being these like sort of Nia and Shayna last year, eliminating everyone. I don't know.
I mean, there was so many things wrong with this Rumble match. I feel like so many what if and what could have been. Like there was no NXT girls.
No, none of them.
They could have deserved a spot. Maybe not all of them.
Well, I was really surprised that there was no like Asuka, Bailey, or Lacey. Like most of the legends that fill in those spots, I assume, had like under a minute cameos, like only seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds. Summer, Kelly, Cameron, Ivory, Sarah Logan. None of them even got enough time for the next entrant to go inside the ring, and they were already out.
Yeah, Molly as well. It was Melina.
Melina, oh my god, Melina.
Probably could make a 30 minutes video of what was wrong with Melina in that Rumble, and it's not her fault. You're telling me you're gonna give people like Kelly or Summer Rae or Cameron more time than Melina in a ring?
Mhm.
Not that they're not good or not deserving of a spot in the Rumble, but Melina did so much more for the women in WWE in general than those three combined.
Because I mean, there's a lot to critique here, but there were also some good moments. I enjoyed so much Mickie James' entrance with the Knockouts Championship, and the way the crowd popped for me was insane, because if you remember when Mickie James was part of WWE back in 2019 or so, crowd didn't give a damn about her, and she was a member of the WWE roster. How come now that cause coming from Impact, she gets all the claps in the back that she never got while she was in WWE? It was like shitty booking at its finest.
This time around, she was seen as a legend. While she was there, she was doing nothing. Like, they had nothing for her, so people just perhaps they didn't care. I'm kind of pissed they messed up the name of the title, but they at least acknowledge it, so I'm gonna give them that.
What did they say?
Impact Women's Champion, Impact Knockout Women's Champion. I mean, at least they acknowledge it. So
yeah. And she was the only one besides Charlotte to actually had an entrance with the title, because neither Selena, Carmella, or Dana Brooke had their titles while entering the Rumble.
But like Charlotte, I don't even know why she was there, knowing she's the champion. To me, that did not make sense. I mean, I'm guessing that with the way she was eliminated, we know where the winner is gonna go.
So let before talking about Ronda, because that's a topic that needs a lot of discussion, let's mention some of the things that you liked. What did you like about the Rumble? I don't think it is like absolutely everything.
Well, like I told you in message, the ring gears were on point. I mean, it's insane that was like the best thing for me. Because, I mean, the gears, for most of them, they were pretty great.
I loved Brie eliminating Nikki.
Yeah, she's always the one being stabbed in the back by Nikki.
Yeah, so this time around, at least they gave her the chance, because she came in first and she was eliminated after getting rid of Nikki herself. Brie kind of seemed like a big deal this time around instead of Nikki.
Yeah, perhaps that makes sense. And in a way, newer woman in the spotlight, like Liv, she was one of those who lasted the longest. She had a good showing. I mean, Bianca and Rhea we kind of expected in a way. Yeah, and at some point, I thought that perhaps Rhea was gonna win. I would have liked to see that instead of what happened, but
yeah, I had no expectations with Rhea coming in with these like weird feud with Nikki ASH. I had no expectations of her winning at all.
Well, you see it, I had Sasha winning.
Yeah.
And when they screw her up, but
I had like so many problems with Sasha's booking. First, because they announced she would be injured, so she wouldn't compete. And then she returns the night before on SmackDown instead of saving her for a surprise entry. As a babyface, she gets rid of Melina, someone that everybody wants to see. So I would have been okay if Melina got out by Charlotte or Shayna Baszler, who are like massive heels, but not Sasha.
Sasha and Melina is a dream match for a lot of people.
And they got a 10-second sneak peek. And also Sasha getting eliminated by Selena. I mean, not to disrespect Selena, but it made no sense because they're not on the same brand. They don't have any type of interaction. And it's like, if you're gonna get rid of Sasha so early, at least make someone kind of like worthy to eliminate her. Once again, I would go with a super heel like Charlotte, Shayna, I don't know, even Ronda. But
or, I mean, even Bianca, because they have stories again, even though they're both babyface, that would have made sense in a way.
So I don't think the match was bad. My problem is these weird decisions happen early in the Rumble. So it made the crowd be kind of like, what the fuck's going on? Like Melina is out so early, Sasha is out not even at the first 10, I think. Yeah. So the crowd was thrown off, like what's going on? Like we don't get it. And I think that's what set the tone for the rest of the Rumble. Like people were already confused. I'm not sure, because I don't think it was a terrible match, but there were some weird spots.
Well, it wasn't terrible in itself, but it was like underwhelming, I would say.
Yeah, the expectation was high.
Because there was so much thing they could have done, like we said, and that they did not do, that felt weird. And no disrespect to her, but Tamina lasted long in the match. Everybody knows Tamina's not going to headline WrestleMania, so why have her in there for like 15, 20 minutes? I don't know what the real time is.
And a lot of the fan favorites, like we said, were eliminated early in the Rumble. Like Sasha was gone, Liv was gone, and Naomi was gone. By the time Ronda came, there were not really many fan favorites in the match anyways. Because we know Bianca for sure wasn't winning 2 years in a row. We have two heel champions in Becky and Charlotte, and most of the people inside of the ring are heels. I think everybody knew when Ronda came back that she was winning the Rumble.
It was obvious. I had a few people like, oh, they're gonna win. When she came out, I was like, yeah, nope, that's not happening.
That's the
Yeah, I mean,
only smart booking we got. Ronda and Charlotte as the last two because everybody would choose Ronda over Charlotte.
like the final two made sense and it worked for a possibility of either Ronda going for Charlotte to she's champion, so she can go on either champion and it makes sense.
So my big problem with this Royal Rumble wasn't the winner. My biggest problem is, like you said, the lack of OMG spots. They're wearing these close, almost eliminations. Is the time that when they were about to get out, they got out, and that's it.
Yeah, and except maybe one or two, but there was like nothing impressive. Just like I'm falling on the apron, I'm gonna roll back inside.
That was missing, and there weren't many big spots either. Like there is one time in each Rumble when one or two competitors hit their finisher or something. The only one I believe had the chance to do that was Michelle McCool.
Yeah, and that was a smooth one though.
Michelle delivered. She was the representation of the Divas era. And some other things that made no sense to me. First, the Rhea Ripley Nikki ASH rivalry. Like I understood when Nikki came from the back trying to eliminate Rhea, then Rhea saved herself and they didn't interact anymore. Like they forgot about the rivalry or what? Also, Nikki ASH and Mighty Molly, it was a cute spot, but I would have preferred to see a face-off in the ring instead of a sneak attack and then I throw you in just to get you out.
I was expecting that, something in the actual ring, like Nikki perhaps fangirling or something for like a second before she threw her out.
All right, that's true. And when Ronda came out, if you did your math correctly, you already knew that Shotzi and Shayna were the last two, which made absolutely no sense. They didn't have enough momentum to win.
Again, underwhelming.
And I think the worst spot for everyone, booking-wise, besides what happened to Melina at the beginning, was Shotzi. Well, between Ronda and Shayna, nobody gave a damn about her.
Yeah, like you said, you should have bring a bigger name later and Shotzi, like perhaps in the first half.
Ronda Rousey is the winner of the 2022 Women's Royal Rumble. I still think she's going after Becky, which means that Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair are going back to oblivion.
You see, I think this is going, if Ronda is going for Becky, I feel like Charlotte's gonna battle a legend at Mania. Would be great and suck in a way, because I feel like there's so many women that there's a Mania spotlight, but again, it's gonna be the same 3 or 4. So that's why a part of me was hoping Ronda would go for Charlotte, because there's so many star power on Raw. To have Becky face up against someone new, perhaps.
It's gonna be tough and interesting to see where Ronda goes, because like you said, it makes sense for her to challenge any of the two. Yeah, I would give this Rumble 2.5 stars. It was decent, but I think the expectation was very high and they had all the elements to make the match deliver, but it didn't.
It was okay, but it was nothing spectacular. It was, once Ronda was out, it was predictable. It just felt so random this year. I just put people in there and we'll see what happens. It almost felt like that. So it was good, but it wasn't great.
I agree with that 100%. Our second women's match of the night was the Raw Women's Championship match. Big Time Bex defending the title against Doudrop.
Well, I feel like it was overall a good match. That Becky nickname just doesn't work for me. I was like, what the hell is that? Nothing too crazy. I feel like the pay-per-view in general was very underwhelming.
I think this match was what it was meant to be. Doudrop, this is the first time she gets a title shot, so I think it was refreshing to see a new opponent for Becky, but we knew she wasn't winning anyways. The first half of the match was, I wouldn't say lazy, but it was slow, like nothing really happened. By the end of the match, it kind of like picked up a little bit. Even the crowd was kind of dead. I have to highlight though, Becky doing the Molly go round.
Yeah, I love that. And that was probably the only exciting thing about that match, because I've seen better matches by both of them.
I am glad they didn't make Doudrop look so weak though. The first half was kind of like boring because it was very round based. Doudrop was overpowering Becky and absolutely everything that she did.
Yeah, it was nothing spectacular again. It was okay, it did what it had to do, but it could have been more. And maybe that's just me. You'll tell me you watch it more often than I do. It's a match that people didn't really care for.
Checking the people's reactions, they weren't really into it. Maybe they only reacted when Becky like finished the match with a top row manhandle slam, but most of the match the crowd was silent, so I guess they didn't care much. It was also a tough spot because they came right after the Women's Royal Rumble, who had Ronda returning, and despite what everybody wants to say about her, she got reaction. Then you move to Becky and Doudrop, that is a predictable match. I don't think they were placed in a good spot. Like, people didn't really care about the match at all.
That's just me, perhaps. I don't understand why the Rumble match was so early.
Who knows?
Who knows?
But then again, another contender that is put away by Becky Lynch. I just think this match could have been featured in a Raw episode instead of the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that didn't have the big pay-per-view feel. That if I've asked myself if I wanted to watch WWE again, this would have clearly made me not want to watch it anymore.
Bear with me, we're moving to the best part, at least to me, so we will see. But
yeah,
I mean,
to me as well.
The match was correct. Let's keep it like that. Simple. It was correct.
It is what it is, right?
Mm-hmm. And we're finally here in the last women's match of the night. It was the mixed tag between the It couple and the Grit couple. Miz and Maryse against Edge and Beth Phoenix. I have no idea what Grit couple means because I'm not like a native English speaker. Do you know?
I have no idea. Not an English speaker here as well, so
we have to do research next time. The first thing that I want to say about this match is mostly in mixed tag team matches, especially in WWE, the men are the focus of the match. They are the centerpiece. This time around, I think women were more important than men, which surprised me a lot.
In a way, and surprisingly, like you said, it was focused on the women even when they were on the outside.
I was praying the Lord to see Maryse actually wrestle in this match, unlike the mixed tag team matches we got against Brie and Nikki Bella. This time around, she did. I mean, it wasn't like a full-on match, but she had many great spots where she could actually show that she's a former two-time Divas champion. What is she so afraid of?
She has like such a strong presence that she didn't have to wrestle for 10 minutes.
I love this match. This is my favorite mixed tag match in WWE in a long while.
And it was the best woman match of the night.
As well. I mean, the crowd was into it, and I know some people will say like the Miz and Edge are like the male superstars who brought the attention to the match. But I don't think that's the case at all, because Beth and Marie's spots also got a great response from the crowd. As a whole, this duo dynamic or the couples dynamic, it worked for everyone in the match.
Yeah, and did. And even though Maryse is heel, I feel like people like her. I mean, people like Beth, it's obvious, but people like Maryse as well. Perhaps that's just the French-Canadian connection speaking. But I feel like people like, not when she was wrestling full-time, but ever since she came back, heel or face, people like her.
We got the purse with a brick spot. Again, it was nice, and after that moment, Maryse actually got in the match. And then the most amazing spot out of her performance at the Royal Rumble was the top row Hurricane Rana.
We never seen it. I was like, oh my god, she pulled out the big guns for that match. We never seen her do that. Not that I remember.
No, she wasn't a high flyer when she was a full-time wrestler anyways.
No, and she like put it on Edge, which is impressive if you want to put it.
And then she French kissed Beth Phoenix. I thought that was the end of the match.
Me too. I was for sure they were going to win. I was surprised because I was obviously expecting Edge and Beth to win, which they eventually did. But I was like, oh my god, they're really going to win.
Yeah, it was well thought, and also I really enjoyed the fact that Edge couldn't put away Miz with his own moveset, so he had to use Beth Phoenix Glam Slam to finish the match.
That was great. I mean, I was expecting at some point Beth to pull the Glam Slam on the Miz, but that they both did it in tandem, and like, it's a powerful move. They needed that to put them away because Miz and Maryse just didn't want to go down.
The fact that Beth and Edge did like a double spear and they finished the match with glam slams. It wasn't like the women were there just to complement what men can do. They were like treated the same, and this whole feud felt like that. Beth and Maryse were actually, I wouldn't say the front runners, but right there with the male superstars. They weren't overshadowed at any moment.
Yeah, because usually in mixed tag match it's like a 70-30%, and this time it was a 50-50 way.
A pleasant surprise. I mean, it was about damn time. We deserved that. And the Divas era, once again, showing that they were the reason why women's wrestling is where it is today.
Give it up for the Divas, which don't get enough credit for everything.
Alright, so this was the review of the 2022 Royal Rumble pay-per-view.
I mean, that was great. It's the first time I'm doing it, like I said earlier, and that was very fun. I wish it was a little more exciting pay-per-view. But that was still fun.
I am sure we're gonna get some feedback in the comments. I've seen majority of people were really against Ronda winning because they had many other picks. So I would love to read your comments down below. What do you think about the Women's Royal Rumble match, as well as the other two women's matches that we got in the card? I think the mixed tag would be like a common denominator as best match, but we will see what people think. I want to thank you for doing this for me. I've been struggling finding time to record, but doing this with someone else is a little bit more enthusiastic and a little bit more relaxing. So thank you very much for being part of this video.
Thank you again for having me. Always a pleasure.
Fingers crossed that we get a decent build to WrestleMania. Elimination Chamber is coming soon, so hopefully, even if it's in Saudi Arabia, it could save some of the women's storylines for Mania. And I will see you guys in the next video. Stay safe. Bye-bye.